Hey there, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the Virtual Console. There's been a lot of uproar about what is going on with the Virtual Console for the Nintendo Switch, as far as how they're handling everything and what, they announced the information that when you sign up for the service, you're going to have access to 20 Nintendo games, 20 NES games, and you don't know, I think they released a list of some of the games, but we don't know if you cancel the service or when the year is up, whether or not you're still going to have access to those games or whether it's going to be basically a subscription service or what's going to happen. And a lot of people are upset because they think that it means that there's not going to be a Virtual Console anymore. I wanted to discuss this a little bit. And the first thing I'm going to say is that I think the Virtual Console is pointless. I think that there's no reason for it whatsoever. And there's a specific set of reasons for that. Number one, the Virtual Console is a glorified search filter. That's all it is. The only thing that the Virtual Console is a button that you click on the button and it filters out retro games from all the new games. That's all the Virtual Console is, and that's all it's ever been. We don't need it because we have that already. The Virtual Console is in the search bar of the Switch. When you go to search, there's no reason that you can't type in Super Nintendo or N64. They can release those games right onto the eShop, and you can search for those things, and it will automatically filter them out. That's all the Virtual Console is. When you click the Virtual Console, it separates all of those games from the new games, and then you have to click another button that said Super Nintendo or NES, and then you got all those NES games. Or you can go to the search filter and just type in NES. I don't think that there's any reason that they can't release games on the shop and we still have access to them. And then the 20 games are games that are only accessible if you pay for the online service. Now, I think that another problem with the Virtual Console is that for a long time the games have been overpriced. The game, I don't need to pay, and I've said this before, I don't need to pay $8 for more Super Nintendo games. I don't need to pay $5 for more NES games. Make them $1 or $2 a piece. That's what they should be costing at this point. That's it. There's no reason to have them overpriced. If you want to say $10 for GameCube games, fine. They're bigger files, they're more complex games, that's okay. But I don't need to pay another $1. I don't need to pay $5 again for Super Mario Brothers. I really don't. And I don't need to pay $5 for the same old game again. These games are accessible in multiple different ways. If you're complaining about them not being accessible on the go, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of these games on the 3DS. I just don't need it over and over and over and over and over again. It gets in the way of new games. You know, if the Virtual Console came out day one along with the Switch, everybody would have bought the Switch. Everybody would have bought Breath of the Wild because it's freaking amazing. And then they would have stopped right there and not bought anything else because they would have rather spent their money on Super Metroid and Link to the Past and The Legend of Zelda and all these other F-Zero. And they would have bought all these games and they would have ignored all of the indie games that have come out since then. Or at the very least, right at the immediate beginning of the system. And everybody who buys a system now is going to do the same thing. They're going to buy the system and they're going to buy a couple of games and they're going to buy a gift card or an eShop card. And then that's going to be it. And then they're going to stop there. And then they're going to miss out on stuff like Blossom Tales. They're going to miss out on stuff like Wizard of Legend. These great games that they're not really sure if they're worth the money. So why not just buy an old game that they know is amazing? Nintendo, now the thing is that Nintendo's plan fixes a lot of that. $20 a year, because I think they're saying $20 a year now, maybe $30. $20 a year for access to 20 games is incredible. It's $1 a game. That's totally fine. No problems with that whatsoever. More games in the future. There's no reason that we can't get more games later on. You know, they said 20 games to start with. What if at the end of that year we keep those 20 games and when we sign up for another year, we get another 20 games? You can't tell me that that's a problem. That sounds like a very good idea to me. I love that idea. A lot of these games could also have new features. I think that they're saying for a lot of the 2-player games, which is specifically like Dr. Mario and Balloon Fight, they're going to have internet accessibility, internet play. You know, rather than just buying the same old game and I have to play it on home on my TV by myself, I can take my Balloon Fight that I got for what is essentially free, because I'm going to buy the online service anyway, and play that as an online game with other people. Realistically, you could pay for the online service and not even have a game that uses the online service and still get online functionality. I kind of think that that's pretty cool. Ultimately, I think it's a good idea. The one thing that I would change, if I had to change something about it, I think that there is a better way to do all of it. On top of the fact that I do like the idea, I think that there's a better way to do it. I would rather you release all the games on the eShop. You let everybody, you sell them for $1 or $2 a game. And when you buy the online service, what I get for my $20 a year is also a $20 credit. And then I can use, that's a special credit. That's an all, you call, I don't know, you can call it an online service credit or something. Excuse me, any game I buy with that credit is half price. Give me all the NES games and Super NES games and maybe even the N64 games for $2 a piece. But if I use the online credit, the initial $20 that I paid to get the online service, those games are $1 a piece. Now what happens is I get all the games that I want. I get my $20 worth that they're giving us now, but I can pick and choose which games I get. So now, now I'm getting I'm getting the games, I'm getting the bonus for buying the online service, but now I'm picking and choosing, because I think a big complaint that people have is that maybe they don't want all of those games. But if Nintendo gave you the chance to choose the games, I think a lot of people would actually be really interested in that. And I think it would definitely go over a lot better with the fans, you know, and then they could release more games. Someone can hang on to their credit and they could say, "Oh, I don't like all of these games right now. I've got $10 left on my credit. I'll wait until they release something else." That credit can expire 1 year from then. So when you go to buy your next year's service, you got to burn your points, and then you get more points when you buy the next service. I don't know. I just think that it's a pretty cool idea. Just a better way to do it, but I think that the way they have to do it is fine right now. Okay. So thank you guys, and have a great night.